Well, hello there and welcome to another Tamar Talks Media video. In this video I am going to be talking you through the plot for the well-known crime film Basic Instinct. I'm doing this because I want to see if I can get some inspiration from plots of real crime films to see if I can apply them to like the final decisions that will come for me making my final plot for my trailer. So yeah, I chose Basic Instinct just because, you know, it's a good film and it's a crime film and I wanted to see it, and it's a bit different as well. It sort of twists the conventions of crime genre, which, as I said in earlier blog posts, was something that I quite wanted to do with my trailer. So let's get on with it. Basically, in this film, rock star Johnny Boz gets stabbed to death whilst having sex with a mysterious blonde woman at his apartment. And the police officer, or the homicide detective that looks into this, is Nick Curran. And his main suspect is Boz's girlfriend, Catherine Trammell, who is a writer and also bisexual. I say that because you'll sort of see why in a few little speaky seconds, really. Like I said, Catherine Trammell is actually a writer and she has written a novel that Curran knows about, and the storyline actually matches the crime of Boz's murder. So obviously that is why Curran thinks that, you know, she might have a little something to do with it. It's also discovered that Curran narrows down his suspects to either Catherine Trammell or somebody trying to set Catherine Trammell up. So Catherine Trammell is basically the main suspect, but Curran thinks if anyone else was to do it, they are definitely trying to set Catherine Trammell up. So Catherine, when she gets taken in for questioning and everything, she doesn't help the police at all. She taunts them a lot during her, like, their trying to investigation into her. A few ways that she does this, just to give you a few examples, is she smokes in the interrogation room, and she exposes her genitals to the police. So yeah, she provides them with alibis, and she does also actually pass a lie detector test, just, you know, to sort of prove to the police that it wasn't her, or to, you know, change their perception of her. However, Curran later discovers that Catherine has a habit of actually becoming friends with murderers. One of the prime examples that he finds is her girlfriend Roxy. So you see, me saying she's bisexual comes into play now. So yeah, her girlfriend Roxy, who actually murdered several boys on impulse, you know, just as you do. She also got another murderer friend called Hazel Dobbs, who killed her whole family. However, Curran has actually previously murdered 2 people whilst he was under the influence of cocaine, and he has counselling sessions with Beth Garner, who he actually then has an affair with. Later on in the film, Curran actually discovers that he is Catherine's latest inspiration for her new novel. His character, or the character that he has actually inspired, gets murdered after falling for the wrong woman. So obviously Curran sort of, you know, has a sneaky suspicion that could possibly happen, seeing as the storyline for her last novel was Johnny Boz's death. So you never know. Also, Catherine finds out about Curran's sketchy past when she actually pays off a police officer to look at Curran's psychiatrist, and Garner actually hands the file, his confidential file, over to the police officer after the police officer sort of recommends that Curran should actually be put up for unemployment. After the police officer has suggested this, Curran goes a little bit loopy and assaults the police officer in public in his office, which this then leads him to become the prime suspect for when the police officer gets murdered. However, Curran actually suspects Catherine because, you know, he seems to suspect Catherine of a lot, and a affair between Curran and Catherine actually happens. They sort of dance around together at a club, and they get together at this club, and then they later go back and have sex. However, like if you remember back to what I was saying about Roxy's ex-girlfriend, not Roxy, Catherine's ex-girlfriend Roxy, she's a bit, you know, murderous impulses and everything, and Roxy actually attempts to run Curran over in Catherine's car, but while she's attempting to do this, she actually crashes herself and dies, which understandably upsets Catherine, and she ends up telling Curran about her relationship with Roxy and how it ended. It ended because a girl called Lisa Hoberman became slightly obsessed with her, and this sort of leads Curran to believe that Catherine didn't actually kill Boz, but he later discovers that the girl that was obsessed with Catherine is actually his psychiatrist, Beth Garner, and he also discovers the final pages of Catherine's new novel, which after he reads them states that the fictional character that's the detective based upon Curran's real life character, finds his partner dead with his legs protruding out of a lift. Later on, Catherine ends things with Curran, leaving him to sort of become very, very upset and very, very suspicious. So Curran decides he's going to meet up with his partner called Gus, who this Gus has plans to meet with Catherine's college roommate to find out a little bit more what happened between Catherine and Beth. And whilst Curran is waiting for his partner does actually get murdered with an ice pick. And like the book states, Curran finds him a bit too late with his legs protruding outside of a lift. And Beth Garner is actually there and tells Curran that she received a message to tell her to come and meet Gus. Obviously, Curran suspects the worst and thinks that she's the murderer, and immediately kills her after assuming that she's going to reach for a gun from her coat pocket, but actually discovers that she was reaching for some house keys to show him her apartment. But when the police search the scene and Beth's apartment, there's a lot of evidence suggesting and linking Beth to all the murders that happened. And after this, Curran goes back to Catherine, and whilst they're together, Catherine explains that she doesn't want to commit to their relationship. But after this conversation, they still end up having sex. So, what can you do? But whilst they're having this, what the audience see, what Curran doesn't see, and they see a ice pick under Catherine's bed, whilst Catherine and Curran are actually discussing their futures and what they want to happen and everything like that. And that's the end of the film, basically. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. I know you haven't been able to see my lovely face, but I thought I'd show you little clips of the film as well, just to help aid my explanation. Underneath this video in my blog post, I have included a little paragraph explaining and concluding how I could possibly use a plot like this for my final plot for my trailer, or how this plot could provide me with inspiration for that and why. So you can go and have a little read of that, and until next time, I shall see you lot later. Goodbye.